questions and clarifications on what should be there, um, or I guess expected behavior. Um, since even though I worked on the app and implemented OneLogin into it, I'm not super familiar with how it will work on, the user's end. What do they expect to work? Um, I can check whether, API calls are going through, uh, but it is a little difficult to know what functionality is actually getting used and what's important. Yeah, so let me share my screen here and at least do a quick run through of where I'm at now. All right, can y'all see it?
Yes, sir.
All right, yes. So this is it on stage, and on Monolith or the mobile API, there's a flag that can be set, and it it determines whether the connected apps, um, at least it's scheduler and EVV in this case, will start up in with this login screen or kind of the one that it's using currently, the one for the mobile database. Um, so yeah, when you click on the sign in via OneLogin, it will take you to, at least in the dev environment, the Aviana dev environment for OneLogin. Uh, you give your OneLogin credentials, and kind of without going into too much detail about the process, it is still using the mobile database to retrieve kind of the account's information, but for authentication, it's just using OneLogin. So kind of both are required still, um, or the old database is still required in this case. Um, so yeah, as far as the pages themselves, I didn't change any functionality, or at least intentionally. Um, my goal was to get the authentication working, but part of that is that each call to the API to the backend needs some tokens to go with it. So I did have to change how the API calls work. Um, whereas because you can swap between, the old authentication method and OneLogin, um, I had to implement it so that, the backend, um, or the scheduler can send different kinds of requests based on which mode it's in, and whether it can choose whether to add those extra security tokens or not. And
I'm, I'm sorry to interrupt you. When you said token, what can you explain exactly what you're talking about?
yeah, so kind of, hmm, you mean just the concept of a token in general, or the specific?
Like,
Uh,
what do you mean in this specific scenario? Usually, I just
so
didn't understand what you meant by that statement.
okay, yeah, the tokens are kind of a proof that the user has signed in, that the the mobile uh, the mobile API, when you sign in and your credentials are correct, it'll return to you kind of a proof of that, called a token.
Got it.
And
I,
and
I know what you're talking about
okay,
now. Cool. I just want to make sure I understood. Thank you.
okay, yeah. So the what's changed, at least regarding tokens, is that as scheduler works now on, prod and RC, there's only one token being used. There's only one proof that's necessary. But when one login is added into the mix, one login has two tokens that it gives you as proof that you've signed in to one login. So those have to be attached to every request to the API, to prove that first you've signed in to, um, the the mobile API and then that you signed into OneLogin, and that both say that you're authorized to retrieve some information. So I guess I can just go through the pages. Um, there doesn't seem to be any data on the EVV caregivers. This page has worked for me locally, but I have had some trouble um, with a handful of functionalities that, like, when there is a user and you want to, like, approve their shift.
Hmm.
Um, I've had some strange things happen there, and I wasn't sure. Um, I guess to back up a little bit, um, the the question that I have in general is, I guess, partly what are the expected functions, or um, which functionality is the most important? For example, like map. Um, Throughout all my testing, I could never get map to work.
Yeah, we don't use that.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe
EVV.
another way. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say maybe another way to ask this question is, if you had a regression test, do a full regression test of scheduler, what would that look like?
I would be using at the top, the caregiver tabs, EVV caregivers, EVV patients, admin portal, admin. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, so shifts, you said this one is not included in that?
Uh, I'll have to, I mean, I can follow back up with you in regards to that, but that's something that, long story short, I'll have to follow up with you in
Okay,
regards to that. But mostly we use, or the locations use the EVV patients and the EVV caregivers.
okay. Um, so yeah, there might be some extra debugging on this page. It's just on the dev environment, there doesn't seem to be any shifts, so it might be um, hard to demonstrate that. The patients page has worked pretty well. Um,
And then the patient forms. So over there to the right, you see where it says, yep, that's a big deal
okay,
to like create forms because of the certain ODP forms and stuff like that.
okay.
Hey Clay, real quick, have we gone through and done these same kinds of tests with the OneLogin enabled flag turned off?
As in
As
just
in
test.
making sure the app still works without the new feature?
So it behaves similarly. So I've gone through and tested without the um, flag on, and generally it behaves the same way. I guess there's a few edge situations I haven't tested, but it is kind of every API call has been modified um, in this change. So, um, so yeah, going forward, I would be testing, um, both extensively. Uh, so kind of I've to
The
directly
reason
answer
I
you.
ask is
Oh yeah,
because Melissa's regression tests are probably more useful out on RC than they are on dev. Um, but we want to make sure that that enablement flag works as expected, because we definitely don't want to push anything along that is broken. So things like this shift page seem to be never ending loading. Is that normal?
Unfortunately.
Okay.
yeah. I
So yeah,
guess
things like that we need to know so that we don't push new things broken moving
Right.
forward.
mm,
I think the shifts page and the caregiver shifts page are both behind feature flags, right? Um, so before the feature flags are enabled in production, it would need to be tested anyway.
Oh, so those are two brand new pages that are going through development right now?
Right. So Melissa, those are not enabled in production, right? At least not for
Yeah, the
locations.
flags are turned off, so they're in production. It's just
Mm-hmm.
we don't have them enabled, but we do. Side note, we do have a pilot for that coming up in March.
Okay. But even for the pilot to make a change in production, we would have to go through cab, which means we need to go through testing.
Yes.
So yeah, I think a big piece of this is to make sure that the app still functions normally with the flag turned off, so that since this is already out on dev and this is already in, you know, that branch, our CI/CD requires us to keep a stable application moving through each environment. So we just need to make sure that this is stable with that flag turned off as well.
Yes, like
Yeah.
you can certainly sign in, and the pages that work here, admin. I guess not much happens here. Admin portal works on this version. Um, no data on this one. Um, but I have tested to a degree um, scheduler with the flag off, and it behaves pretty much the same as this. But you did kind of hit on that point. That is my main question. What is normal behavior? That I'm looking for kind of a list or um,
Yeah.
specific requirements about what is normal, so that I'm not, scared when map or shifts isn't working.
Right. So I would maybe set Gina's user type to 64, I suppose. Or, whatever user type Melissa typically uses when she regression tests.
Yeah, it'd be 64.
And what that does, Clay, 64 means you're an EVV scheduler. So what that's going to do is it's going to appropriately set the tabs up top there.
Okay, so
And that's exactly what our users would be using.
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm trying to set it now actually because I can just load back in.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, right now it seems like Gina's a super admin or something.
yeah, I've got it set to at least in my local testing, I was using 127
Mm.
as super user.
And that would just obviously be us using the 127, us in support.
Yeah, so
So for me, if we switch that user to 64 and everything seems to work without the feature flag enabled, I would almost like to see this deployed out to RC with the feature flag disabled, so that we can ensure that if some other feature that's going on at the same time goes out to prod, we haven't broken anything.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's a good call. Even though you're nobody.
I am nobody. I'm not important. And so when that does get signed off on and we say, yeah, that feature flag didn't break anything if it's turned off, then we can turn it on whenever we want on RC for testing, and we can flip back and forth whenever we need to.
Okay.
My only concern is that because we're doing this at the same time as other pages like shifts, maps, caregivers are going on, we don't know what order those things will go out in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
okay. So setting it to 64.
So you have to log in again, because the user type comes through the token.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
I think it comes in the monolith token, not the OneLogin token,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're correct because it
Okay.
because I'm making a change to the mobile database and all that relevant information that's in the monolith generated token.
And that token is cached in the browser for now.
Yes.
Eventually, we would like to see that be in a cookie, but that's a separate ticket.
Yep.
Cool. So even caregiver shifts. So yeah, the feature flag for that is enabled and has Gina's location, I presume, set. And that's why you see it there.
Okay.
So functionality wise, you're not getting errors on these pages. You're just not getting any data either.
Yeah, but you're in the dev environment. I would not expect there to be any data here.
Sure. So is this something that we're comfortable pushing to RC with that bit disabled for now? And then, well, is this with the bit enabled? This is with OneLogin, right? You just logged in with OneLogin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to caregivers. Yeah, there's nothing in here.
You got a response that said no results. You didn't get an error. You didn't get unauthorized, I assume.
Yeah, that this I can check for sure, but usually this specific one, the response is a 404, but the within the response it'll just say, "Hey, you
Yeah,
didn't get any no clock in out found."
that's because we're returning a not found exception, which is odd.
Yeah, I know. So it's not
It's not an actual 404.
right.
It's just we didn't find something, so we return not found.
Yep, and when using my own local database, I have gotten the new submissions page to at least pop up with results. Actually, I've got a Word document here. Uh, the in my local testing, I've gotten this page to show up.
Yeah.
And
Well, so that's only because I have set the seeder to be a more recent date for the clock in outs for a caregiver that has my same name.
yeah, so that's
So
caregivers.
that was a specific test run that you were doing that just so happened to put data on dev.
Right. So you guys can do that too. You guys can update the seeders to have more recent data.
Gotcha.
But after 30 days, you'll need to do it again to test.
Sure.
Okay.
Got it.
Because the snapshot goes and looks days back.
Or we could manually connect to the dev database and update those dates.
Yeah, or you can go and use an EVV app to actually create shifts.
Sure, that too.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving forward, it sounds like the 64 user type is the common user type, but is admin is still in use, right? It's just not all the pages are finished yet.
There is one admin page that has been around for quite a while. It was the admin one, not I think the other one was admin portal, maybe. That one's newer.
Yeah, admin portal's newer.
Mm-hmm. But the admin one's pretty simple. I think it just lets you move users between locations, if I recall correctly.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
So Melissa, what are your thoughts on testing this on RC? Do we want to test it first with regular logins and make sure everything works,
Yes.
and then switch? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
That way we have an idea of what's going on.
Right. Okay. So Clay, I think we're in a state where we can actually push this to RC with that flag disabled.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that idea. And then it does. I don't know. I don't know if it even matters which order you test it in, but both have to be tested anyway.
Agreed.
When do you plan on doing that push?
I mean, I think we can do it today.
Yeah.
Let me know. Can I get just clearance before we do that and follow back up with you guys? I just want to make sure that there's not something else going on that this could possibly mess with.
Well,
Yeah.
so that's the thing. If there is something else in RC, this has to react well with that anyway.
Touche.
Right. So if say one of those new pages has their feature flag turned on, we need to make sure that that turned on and our feature flag turned off still work well together.
That makes perfect sense. Okay.
So that's kind of why I want to get this out into RC now, because our CI/CD requires it to work at the same time.
Right. Yeah, if something doesn't work, I'd rather know now anyway.
Right.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a big change for us too. So
Sorry, I'm wrapping my brain around everything.
Yeah, this is a lot, Melissa. This is, many, many, many months in the making. So it's cool to start being able to test it.
Yeah, I think it looks awesome.
Thank you.
just to clarify, we're okay pushing this in the next hour or so?
Go for it.
Yeah, you're going to create a PR into live.
For Monolith, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah.
Actually, Kyle and Ken on the EVP team might have already done that.
Yeah, I think there's a chance they did.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if they merged it in, but they definitely had the PR. So
Yeah, but otherwise we'll have to do this. I guess scheduler doesn't have those separate pipelines, but we still need to do the deployment. So
actually,
or do you think they did the scheduler too?
yeah, scheduler and the monolith are the only two that have the instanced pipelines.
Oh, scheduler does have a split pipeline?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, got it.
So it's also got a live branch.
Okay. Clay, have you worked with that yet? You need
Yeah, no, I have not worked with schedulers pipeline yet.
Yeah, so TLDR, scheduler, and monolith, they're both, I guess, technically still trunk-based development, but we have it separated out into two trunks. So there's a live branch, and then there's the master branch. So master branch is sort of the true trunk, and then the live branch is just what represents what's out in production, or at least what's in RC. So the reason why we did that is so that we can apply hotfixes when we need to. And so to move from stage to RC, you actually have to create a PR to go from master into live.
Okay.
That was a very quick explanation. So let me know if you have questions, or, we'll follow up in Slack if need be.
All right.
Cool. Clay,
Cool.
did you get all your answers in under 30 minutes? And looks like you're going to deploy it out. Wow.
Yeah, I think the deployment to RC will, well, hopefully it brings no new questions and answers and everything works 100%. But there is a chance that it brings new questions that need to be answered.
Gotcha. Okay. Melissa, are you good with this? Any other questions for the 7-factor team here?
I'm sure I will think of something. I'm just processing this right now.
Yeah.
But I will definitely message you guys if I have any questions.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I grabbed that link, that scheduler.aviandev.io, and I was playing with it with my OneLogin login there, and that's pretty cool. So,
Yay!
Although,
What a great thing to hear, right?
although I got denied into Scheduler because I don't have an actual account when it comes to that app and that database. But
That's what I was gonna say. Is how did you get in? Because
I did not. But I read the URL. It says access denied because I didn't have access. But it followed the same flow that Clay had demonstrated there. So
Yeah, so his OneLogin user probably has EVB access, but doesn't exist in the EVB database.
yes.
Right.
So
Sad face.
yeah, yeah.
But it did what it was supposed to, right?
That's true.
did.
Yeah,
I'm like,
check
let's
it
spin
out.
it back to positivity here.
Yeah, actually, here real
Yeah.
quick before we close, I'll show you. So this is your said link here, right? Your stage. So I just here. Oh, because I gotta log out. I'm sorry. My tokens here. That's my fault. I'm sorry. Hold on.
No, you're good. You're good. You're so hype about it. I get it.
I actually gotta hop, but I'm sad that I'm gonna miss this. I believe you though, Ben.
Oh God, no, I promise. There we go. All right. Here we go. Yep. So it's going to
There's
return up
EVB
here.
and GLS access in the OneLogin.
Yeah, so it won't let me go any further. Earlier, it was showing me error user not found in this URL string. So if I had an actual account, I would see what you saw on Clay's screen there. So again, I like the process. So
And just so we're aware, in prod and probably RC going forward, any new workers added, their username is going to be their full email, not just first dot last.
gotcha.
I don't know if we're going to update the lower environments to match or not, but moving forward.
Okay. Good to know. All right, everyone. I'll let you go for your what's 4 o'clock here in my time, and just give us a heads up when that gets pushed, or if it gets pushed today or tomorrow. Cool.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
yeah, thanks so much. Ben, also, where will this be, this recording?
I will send it out to this. I'll reply back to this meeting invite here. So.
Cool. Thanks.
All right.
Bye, y'all. Thanks.
Bye.
All right. Have a good one.